Hey everybody, fluxJeLLy here, bringing you guys another Starcraft 2 replay. This time it's going to be a ZvZ on Shattered Temple between myself, fluxJeLLy, the green Zerg, spawning at the bottom position, and Idrosis, I guess the teal Zerg? Yeah, we'll call it teal. The teal Zerg spawning at the top position here on Shattered Temple. So, ZvZ on Shattered Temple is, you know, it's alright. I mean, it's probably not going to be that long of a game. Usually ZvZs aren't on this map because this is usually a Ling map. Because, you know, it's not that far. I mean, even cross map, like, to get from here all the way down here is not really that far. So, usually it ends up being Ling, which means it's going to end pretty quick, or it's going to be a painfully long game. So, hopefully we don't have a painfully long game for you guys here today. So, I have a new build recently in ZvZ. I don't remember if I did it in this game or not, because it's been a while since I played this game. But I like to open, you guys can leave feedback if you want, I like to open with a hatch first on 15, and then straight in the pool on 14, and then you actually go roach, because I don't like, I don't really like banelings. I don't like defending with banelings against other banelings. I don't know, it's just too, it's too volatile. Like, if I make one misclick, I probably lose the game, you know, so I like using roaches, and it is safe. I mean, I have tried it out. It does beat a 14 pool baneling all in. It does. You do get roaches up before the banelings show up, and a spine crawler. So I do like the build. I don't know if I don't remember if I do it here or not. I can't really remember, but yeah, it does work, guys. Leave feedback if you think of a better build. Basically, what you do though is you go into that pool, and then you drop your gas at 16, and then you skip Ling speed, and you go into roaches straight away. You can get Ling speed after if you really want it. I mean, you don't need it early on if you're going to defend. And I mean, yes, it gives up map control, but I mean, you're safe with an expansion, and you can get Ling speed whenever you want. So it's not really giving up much. I don't think you can't be aggressive in the early game, which is fine. If you're safe on 2 base, you can just macro up and be ahead. So I do kind of like that stance a lot better than not being able to be aggressive. So I'm actually not going to go over this build in this game. I did go pool first, dropping a pretty late hatch, and my gas is down a little bit late, so I'm going to open Speedling, a variation Speedling. It's not going to have speed very fast. I did actually kind of sense he was going to do something a little bit cheesy. This is a master level ZvZ, so I did think he'd probably just try to end it quick and go Banelings or something like that, or even Ling Flood. So I wanted to get my pool out first just to go see what was going on. I didn't really trust my my roach build here because this natural is really wide open. I usually like to do it on maps like Shakuris where there's a ramp going in your natural. That's when it works best. But I mean, right here you have this to protect, but all this as well, so it doesn't work as well. And I just figured maybe, you know, if this guy out controls me or whatever, he'll win. So I'll just go straight up Ling Bane. So I'm gonna send my scouts out pretty early. I do see this Overlord, and if he's not here, I know exactly where he is, just because you can't get that Overlord from over here all the way here. It had to have come from the top position because they're just so slow. So I don't see any creep here, so I'm gonna go scout the top. He does have 6 Lings I have to scout right now. I should be fine. That's not gonna do any damage. I have 6 Lings of my own. Going straight into roaches because I decided not to go Ling. I was really indecisive in this game. I know. I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do. But his hatch is actually a bit later than mine, so I'm going to be a little bit ahead in that respect. If we look at the income tab right now, I'm actually 3 drones ahead because he is committing to a pretty big Ling attack right here. This is a lot of Lings made, and I mean there's even more up here, so this is a pretty early aggression here. You do have to do some damage with it, however, because you do let your opponent get ahead of you in drones. So he does need to do some damage here. I think what he's going to try and do is just put on some pressure and then just get his expansion up behind it, and then try to defend from there, and hopefully he expects to do a lot of damage to my drone count and get actually ahead of me. So it's probably what he wants to do. He's actually going to have not going to have much of an advantage here, just because I'm going to have the defender's advantage, and I have Ling speed on the way as well, so and roaches, so I mean this attack shouldn't do too much damage. It shouldn't take out my hatch by any means, but we'll see what he can do nonetheless. This is a pretty big attack. We do have about 20 Lings here getting ready to push in. He should be reinforcing with these 4 up here. I don't know why exactly he's leaving them there. I guess he just forgot about them. But the more he waits here, the longer I can get my roaches up. I mean, I'm popping out roaches as we speak, so the more time he gives me to defend, I mean, the more units I'm going to have out, and the least successful his attack's going to be. So I don't agree with him staying here in the middle this long. for the sake of 4 lings, I mean, you should have just attacked a long time ago. I do see all these lings, so I'm going to retreat back to my roaches. This is still a lot of lings, though, so these lings could actually break through this whole thing, even the roaches. We're going to see right here, the lings are getting a nice surround. They're on the roaches and the lings. All my lings are gone down. Now it's just hitting my roaches. The roaches are actually going down pretty quick as they are fully surrounded. I didn't get them in a good enough position, so the lings are going to take out all these roaches, and all these drones down here are also going down. So this attack is doing a lot of damage. This is exactly what Idrosis wanted to do with this attack. He's taking out every drone at my natural, and, I mean, at this point, I'm just scrambling to get units out now to defend this attack in time. I have 1 roach is not going to be enough. One's going to pop out right here. It might get surrounded. No, it doesn't actually get surrounded. It is going to get away and fight a little bit, and this roach is going to come down as well. And as you can see behind this, he isn't really reinforcing. He kind of just droned up behind it, so that is really smart move by him there. The attack does get repelled, but if we look at the income tab right now, I am down 5 drones, and that is a significant amount of drones. In ZvZ, I mean, every single drone counts. It all makes a difference, so being down 5 drones at this point is putting me pretty far behind. We are both on 2 base. So I'm going to push out here and see what I can see. He does have 5 roaches, so this attack shouldn't really do very much. I mean, it's only 10 lings, so it's not going to be able to beat 5 roaches by any means. So poking in here with lings. No drones down here yet, so I don't know exactly what his drone count is. I do see a queen I can pick off, however, so I do go and get that queen. That queen is a pretty big asset at this point, because he killed my queen when he attacked too. So, I mean, we're both on the same production capabilities, just because we each have 1 queen now and 1 on the way. So that was one of my ways of keeping him from droning up too hard behind this and getting really far ahead of me. I mean, if we look, he is pretty far ahead of me. He's 5 drones ahead of me right now, and that's still really bad, but he could be more if he just kept getting those larva injects. So I am thankful I got a queen there. That is going to help me out just a little bit to get back into the game. I am trying to drone up kind of hard. I'm hoping he's not making units at this point. He could really decide to just go all in right now with roaches and lings and probably end up winning the game because he knows I have to drone, because I know I'm behind, and he knows that I know that I'm behind. So he might be able to try to trick me that way, just make a whole bunch of roaches and come in, and all I have is drones, and then I say, oh, GG. But he's actually not. He's going to sit back and use his advantage, drone up as hard as he can, because he knows, I guess, he's ahead, so he just wants to get even farther ahead, which is also a really good idea. I mean, you can't really go wrong there trying to get farther ahead. He knows I'm not going to be able to break him because I shouldn't be making units right now. So that is a pretty smart move by him. I do have +1 on the way before him, but he has his layer down before mine. So a little bit of a trade-off there. I only have a single Evo. I don't plan on going double Evo this game. I don't really like double Evo unless I'm going to commit like specifically to roaches, because I find at this point, you know, it's obviously going to be an infestor roach game more than likely, unless someone texts a muta. So I find that the double upgrades, they kind of cut into your roach count a little, or your infestor count, I should say, a little bit too much. So I do only like to go the single early upgrades. It's personal preference, really. I like more infestors rather than upgrades. I feel like the infestors will do more damage. So right now I'm trying to drone up as hard as I can, and I'm trying to catch up, but I mean, at this point I'm still down 7 drones. It's going to be 3 now as 4 more drones pop out. Trying to stay on top of my injects, which he is as well. He's missed 1 inject on his main. That's not that big of a deal. He does have all his gas down before me, and that's just because he had so many more drones. I knew I couldn't tech as fast as I should be able to. Just because all these gas would take up too many drones, I wouldn't have enough minerals. So I had to wait to drone up kind of hard, which is why my gas are later than his, because he had the drone advantage, so he could just gas up a little bit earlier, which means he's going to be able to get out his tech earlier. He's going roach speed right now, and he's actually getting double upgrades, so this is going to be one of those cases where you go double upgrades, and I mean, at this point, I'm probably going to go infestors just because I did see a lot of roaches. I should actually be scouting his base just to see if there's any mutas coming, like just to see if he dropped a spire or anything like that, but I mean, at this point I didn't expect spire because I didn't see those gas. So yes, right now both players are just sitting back and they're going to macro up a little bit. I'm trying to go knock down my 3rd right here. That's a really good idea if you're really behind in ZvZ and you think you can grab an expansion, because if you can expand before him and, you know, get it saturated, you'll actually catch up a lot. So that was my thought process there, trying to expand a little bit. And he's actually going to knock down his gold, so he is going to keep up with me in that regard. He'll have his gold down, and he'll have more mineral income. But, I mean, at the same time, mineral income is good and all, but gas is really what matters. So if I can keep him on the same gas count as me, even if he has that gold, it's not going to make too much of a difference. I mean, he'll have more minerals to expand and stuff like that, like more than me, but if I can keep him contained on the same amount of bases, that gold isn't going to make that much of a difference, just because you can't, usually you're going to have a surplus of minerals if you're, you know, especially if you're on a gold, you're going to have surplus of minerals, and you can't really do much with them because your larvae are already going to be all spent on roaches and infestors anyways. So he is popping out a lot of units right now. He might be able to move out soon. He is getting 1-1 really fast. My +2 is just starting, so he's going to be a bit ahead of me in upgrades a little bit. My infestation pit is on the way, and if we look at the income tab right now, I am starting to catch up in the drone count. I'm only down 6. I was down like 8 or so earlier. So yeah, catching up a little bit. My third is on the way, as is his. So mine's going to be up a little bit before him, but his is gold. So I don't know if he's going to go straight into 2-2. He doesn't look like he has the minerals for it. He does have the gas for it, so he probably will go into 2-2 really quick. I do expect that. There'd be no reason otherwise to get that double Evo if... yeah, there goes the 2-2 right now, and I do see that with my Overseer, so I am just checking for mutas right now. I know there's no mutas, so I'm fine going Infestor Roach. I actually like, when I play ZvZ, Infestor Roach is my favorite playstyle. I just find it suits me very good because I'm good at positioning my armies, and I don't know, I'm really comfortable playing Infestor Roach because that's really what ZvZ was, you know, a couple months ago. Is pretty much every game was just Infestor Roach, and I became really comfortable with playstyle, really used to it, know how to control it fairly well. So I do think I have an advantage over most people when I play them Infestor Roach, which is why I usually try to swing the game in that way. Which also that build that I do with the early Roach Horn kind of pushes that too, because it makes your opponent go roaches, and if they see you have infestors, they try to get infestors. Because, you know, why would you go muta against infestors if they already have infestors out? That's just kind of stupid. So I do like to try to push it in that regard. I do have my +2 should be done by the time he pushes it out, or close to it, so he's probably not going to be able to do that much damage. Infestors are actually going to be out as well. Burrow on the way, Pathogen Glands is done, as well as Roach Speed on the way. And I'm droning up my third now, and I'm actually ahead now in the drone count. And this is what I mean, like, he didn't get his third up quite as fast as mine, and I don't think he paid enough attention to drone it up really hard like he should have, which is what I'm doing right now. As you can see, it's pretty much saturated right now. 2 of the gas are saturated, and there's a lot of drones on minerals. So I'm in a pretty good position at this point. I like where I am. A couple of infestors popping out right now. He's going straight Roach, and straight Roach is not as good as Infestor Roach, not by any means. It's not even close. He's getting an infestation pit, so he might wait for a couple of infestors before he actually pushes out. So hopefully he'll do that. Also throwing down a macro hatch in his main, also not a bad idea. But right now, like, these infestors are gathering so much energy. They're going to be able to throw off a couple of key fungals if we do engage here, and Roach Speed if we done, and as well as Burrow. Knocking out my rocks now for my 4th. If I can get a 4th up before him, I'll be in a great position here. So yeah, staying on top of my injects as best I can here. Basically just trying to play as solid as I can, keep my mechanics really good. He's not really putting on any pressure, so that's kind of letting me do that, and he's still not mining off these gas. If we look at my third, I've been mining off these gas for about 300 gas now, and he hasn't even started yet. That's actually going to put him really far behind in terms of gas. He did get his earlier than mine before, so that advantage is pretty much gone right now, and then some, because I'm going to have way more gas to use here. I'll have more infestors out and stuff like that. But we do see, if we look at the army supply here, he is actually ahead of me by about 20 supply, so he is still in a great position, and he has upgrade advantage over me too. I'm only at 2-0. He's at 2-2. The big engage here now. The roaches are going to get a concave, and a huge fungal going down the roaches right there. If I can get another one off, they'll be really good. I don't actually, but the infestor does catch a lot of more roaches right here. So a lot of fungals are going down right now, but this is where fungal actually becomes really less effective. When the roaches are spread out like this, you can't fungal as many, so fungal isn't as good here. So I should be retreating here any minute now, because this is just not a good engage for me right now. I do have to get out of there, pull the infestors back, get back to my spines for a bit of protection, and gather some energy for some more fungals, because a lot of these roaches are very weak. He doesn't have burrow yet, so he does actually have burrow, sorry, so he should be able to sit out there and regen a little bit, but at this point, I mean, I just need to regain my numbers here and gather up some energy. So a lot of roaches now popping out. I see his up here. He's not reinforcing right away, so this is why I do want to push the envelope, because I do see he's not reinforcing. His creep spread is better than mine, but that doesn't really bother me, because, I mean, creep spread in ZvZ is just vision, and you have overlords anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. So the infestor's now throwing down another big fungal on these roaches here, and another big fungal right here, so these roaches are getting severely weakened. They're going to be taken out pretty soon. My concave's actually becoming better than his, and a huge fungal right there. So much damage going on with these infestors, and this is why infestors roach is so much better than just straight roach, just because I mean, you can position your army and you can choke off a lot of his. As you saw right here, when he came in, I just pinned a lot of his army right there. They couldn't even attack or do anything, and they were all just taking damage. So infestor roach is always better than just roach. Trust me on that one. A lot of energy getting stored up here. We're going to have another couple fungals. And actually a hydrogen on the way. And this is something that not a lot of Zerg players do that they really should. If your game turns into infestor roach, I mean, you don't see that ending. Actually, as we do say that, a lot of roaches coming down for this in big gauge. But look at how clumped up they are. 2 huge fungals going down roaches. 3 big fungals catching all these roaches, and they're getting so damaged by this fungal. I mean, they're just bunched up so intensely that I mean, fungal, when they're like this, it's so good because they can't move, they can't run away. If you can keep them there, you can actually kill the roaches before they can actually get away. And I mean, if I had a couple more fungals, I could have done that. But I didn't actually get them off in time. But like I was saying, if your game turns into Infestor Roach, I mean, throw Hydras in there. If you put Hydras into your mix, Hydra Roach Infestor will always beat Infestor Roach. Always. Just because Hydras stand in the back of the army, if you position it right, of course, which you should. But Hydras always stand in the back of the army, like behind the concave with their range, and they just dish out the damage. Like, they do so much damage to the roaches. And I mean, as long as your roaches are there and there's enough of them to be meat shields for the Hydras, they're going to do a lot of damage and be so effective. And I mean, your army composition is going to be way more cost efficient, so you should be able to get an advantage that way. My 4th base is up as well. His is just going down right now. I should be saturating mine soon. I didn't want to saturate it right away just because I did see his big army out there. I didn't want to risk losing all my drones. But he is actually retreated right now. He's spawning a lot more roaches. 3/3 on the way for him. My +1 armor is on the way, along with groove spines for Hydras. Hydra range is key in this composition also, just because it lets the Hydras stand behind the roaches a lot more effectively because they'll have an extra range. So it'll let them stand back a little bit more so they can get a better concave. So right now we do see the army tab is actually pretty even, so we're going to see what happens here. I should be moving out soon as these Hydras pop. I will have +1 armor, so he's only really one armor ahead of me in upgrades, which isn't too bad. His 3/3 will hit soon, so that'll be pretty big. And he actually has a Spire on the way as well, so he's probably going to try to go into Broodlords behind this. I don't see him trying to go Muta, just because that'd be kind of silly. I mean, he'll have no units here to kind of back up his mutas, and he's going to be wasting all his gas. So I do expect him to go probably into Greater Spire and try to get Broodlords pretty quick, which is alright. I mean, Broodlords do beat Hydras, so that is a pretty good idea by him. We do see my army coming in now, but he's actually going to get a really big flank here if I don't see this. I do have the Watchtower, so I should see it coming and get my Infestors behind my army, and I do actually do that. And a really big fungal going down there. Another big fungal going down right there, so huge fungals going down, and the Hydras doing a lot of damage. And I mean, and fungal doesn't do as much damage to Hydras because they're light units, so I mean, it's just more efficient all around. And all the fungals going down on the roaches here, they're all getting taken. Look at how weak they all are, and I mean, that just sets them up for the Hydras just to knock them all down like that. And huge fungals going down, nothing he can do. I do get my Infestors out of there because keeping your Infestors alive is a really big deal. It's a lot of gas that you won't have to invest in more Infestors, so you can just make more units out of it. So that is a pretty key point right there. Do keep your Infestors alive if at all possible. So right now I'm just replenishing my Hydra Roach count, and I'm just waiting for another push. Actually, I think I forgot about these roaches. I don't know why I left. There I go. I was gonna say I don't know why I left them up there. They were just gonna get picked off by his whole army here, but his 3/3 is spot pop now, so he does have a pretty significant advantage. But again, he's got only roaches, and roaches aren't as good as Roach Hydra, so it's going to be a pretty even matchup here. I mean, the army count is still like dead on, so it is going to be a pretty even engage here if we do engage. It's all going to come down to positioning. He has all his Infestors burrowed over here, trying to regain some energy. Actually unburrowing him now, so he looks like he might be actually trying to push out. He doesn't have much energy, and the roaches are actually going to surround the Infestors. So many of these Infestors are going to go down. This is actually huge. He just lost all his fungals. All his Infestors are gone, and his roaches are so clumped up right here. They're just asking to be fungled. And yeah, look, there's a huge fungal from the Infestors. Another big fungal right in the exact same spot, and look how fast that Roach army melted, even with 3/3. And actually, he tried to come around with a flank, so I did peel off some units here to pick off these roaches as well. So, I mean, that army just got decimated, and that actually might be GG, because I'm instantly maxed again, and he actually isn't. He has no gas at all, and it's just because he let all his Infestors die. That was actually huge. My Infestor's actually going over here to his 4th base now. I'm going to spit some Infested Terrans, it looks like, or Fungal Growth these drones. I don't know which one I'm going to do. But, I mean, at this point, this is pretty much GG right now. He can't respawn fast enough. His gold base is going to go down. Over here, it looks like, yeah, more Infested Terrans coming down here, so this base is also going to go down. And, I mean, all I have to do is reinforce right now, and I'm just going to win. And Idrosis actually knows. He says, my upgrades were 3/3, haha. But 500 latency, I don't know about that. But he does actually not even GG there, so, yeah, basically that game came down to I had more Infestors than him. He positioned his army really badly in that last engage when he bottlenecked him right here and just let me fungal them all in place. I mean, there was probably like 20 roaches there that got hit by one fungal. So, I mean, that all adds up, and I mean, I hit him with 2, so, plus the Hydras in the back. I mean, Hydras are really, really good in ZvZ. They're very underused, which is a shame. But, yeah, it came down to that positioning, and I mean, he didn't get Hydras, he was pure Roach, and I don't know, it's just he didn't have enough Infestors, so, I hope you learned something, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching. Subscribe, and more to come. Thanks a lot for watching.